Hello everyone, this is Stefan from Lush and Salty Aquariums. It's time to look at the saltwater aquarium. We've been all over the freshwater stuff, but the mother of all my fish tanks is this 125-gallon Reef. It's in our living room, and it's generally what people gravitate to for super obvious reasons. Saltwater tanks are special. The average person gets into them, whereas the average person is more or less indifferent to the planted aquariums unless they're special and featured. But that's my hobby, and this is hobby plus furniture plus showpiece plus passion. That's what saltwater reef tanks can give you. An update here, things look pretty good. A clean sand bed, mostly robust corals, although I'm always having issues. For example, those zoanthinin back there are a diminishing colony. I'll never quite know why, whereas this Gonepora is doing fabulous, the feathery plant. And then mushrooms do really well. Mostly things that take the stuff out of my water column to feed do well, and stuff that relies heavily on light less well. These gold polyps should be spreading like crazy. They're doing the opposite. So that's the bummer stuff. The good stuff is always the fish, which I'll get to. This bubble coral, leather corals, these are all doubled, tripled in size. That's a frag right there that I cut off one of the mother colonies, of which I have several. A knobby-headed Gonepora, I think that's what this is called. That's growing. Excuse the reflection and poor photography. And these polyps do well, but they're not very beautiful. They're kind of like dandelions, whereas the Pali grandes, those big green ones, there's a big great colony back there. They feed on little pieces of live food, which I can hand feed them, as well as take sustenance from the light. This is a huge mushroom cap leather, toadstool leather, another one here but with long tentacles. I've fragged both of these, so I've taken pieces, you can see the cut marks, and I've moved them elsewhere in the tank. There's one back there, and then if we scooch around, there's another one back there. I've got these fun shelving units that are held up by magnets. You can get them online to create some structure in the back. That's the best one by far, I think. This is called a neon green cabbage leather. It looks messy, but that's what it does. That's a frag of it right here. So there you go. Now, fish-wise, I haven't had any drama in terms of fish losses except a fairy wrasse that jumped about 3 weeks ago, and I missed it. If I would have got it a minute or two sooner, I might have been able to save it. But I have plenty of fish in here, so I'm not restocking for anything right now, especially during quarantine. That's moose right there, that massive sailfin tang, which I got when it was the size of a golf ball. I think now it's at least a half a pound, and gigantic but friendly. And there's a yellow tang, the icon of Hawaii. There's a coal tang right there. They get along very well. I've got the two clowns, a mom and dad, who are constantly spawning back here. There's a clutch of their eggs. If I were to move these two into their own like 15, 20 gallon reef tank and put an anemone in there, I bet I could raise those fish. But in here, not a chance. There's the filefish, fascinating creature. I got him all because he's fascinating, but also to help me get rid of my Aiptasia. And you know what? I'm not seeing very much of it. Jesus, freak, it might have worked. I need to study this tank more. That's the best news I've had all day. I had a ton of Aiptasia, which for the uninitiated are undesirable, heavily spreading, kind of ravenous anemones. They look a little like that polyp right there, but they have tentacles, and they will sting encroach on corals, even hurt little fish, and they multiply, and they're kind of ugly, but I don't see one, so maybe that filefish is doing his thing. In general, while I like to stare at, there's a foxface, that beautiful yellow and black fish that just swam behind the coral there. There's a flame angel, very common but stunning. You just don't get orange and blue like that, even in tropical fish. This is a pintail wrasse, very lively and pretty with the pink and chartreuse. And there's another monster. That thing was 20 bucks at Pet Club, and it was the size of a minnow. Now I could eat him. I mean, he's like the size of a lake perch. This is the other fairy wrasse that didn't jump. It's like a ruby-headed fairy wrasse. But there you have it, all my fish and all my coral, and it's doing really, really well. Sheltering in place is good for my fish tanks because I'm on top of them, although, much to my surprise, I didn't realize the Aiptasia problem had diminished so much. I'm delighted to report that, and it was really a problem that's hard to solve if you don't have an organic predator like a filefish, and they may or may not consume those, and I thought mine was not, but lo and behold, it must be, because no other fish in this tank is desirous of Aiptasia. But I've got clean water, I've got mostly robust and happy corals and fish, and I guess that's what it's all about. I'll move back so you get a sense of it in the space. You see the beautiful great outdoors of Marin County. That's northern exposure, so no sun hits this tank. Anyway, everybody, I hope you have a great rest of your day and week or night whenever you're viewing this video. I'd love it if you subscribe. Gosh, that would be so cool. Questions, comments, hit me up, and always keep your hands in the tank. Ciao for now.